Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the full moon. It's on August 9. It's at 17 degrees of Aquarius. The Lion's Gate lines up a day before this full moon, and that unprecedented talent triangle I've been talking about is lit up because Mars is forming a kite pattern, activating the energy. Yeah, that sounded like a lot. It's a lot, and that's what we're going to talk about. In unprecedented times, it's very important to be flexible and resilient, and this full moon in Aquarius gives you a chance to change directions while you're in motion. So this is the energy that I'm seeing for this full moon. It's that Mars is making a trine both to Uranus and to Pluto, and it's making that opposition to Saturn and Neptune, and that forms this kite configuration. So while you are doing all of the things that you're doing, and there are lots of things that you're doing, you can, say, shift one direction towards Uranus and do something completely unexpected, out of the box. Or you can shift towards Pluto and let go of something that's been holding you back, a vice, an attitude, a person, a project, and free yourself. Or you can meet Saturn and Neptune in the middle and actively work with someone else, maybe helping them. So putting aside your desires and your goals and really focusing on them. And as you do, you get the insights and spiritual healing that you need. And all of this comes down to the fact that what's most important right now is flexibility and resilience. And I was reading Seth Godin's blog, and he was talking about resilience and being able to move forward even though things haven't worked out. You know, that when things don't work out, that we try something else, and then we try something else, and we try something else. And that continual knocking at these different doors is what brings us opportunities. And if you would like to know more about what's ahead for you in 2025 and 2026, I do readings. I do all types of astrological readings. That means progressed readings, solar return readings, readings for compatibility, to start your business, for timing. So if you're interested, there's a link in the description. And then at the end of this video, we're going to continue talking about your money houses and how to find the hidden money in your chart. Okay, Aries, this full moon is lighting up your house of friendships, groups, the community, collaboration with others on a bigger scale. And then Mars, which is activating the whole talent triangle, is in your house of relationships. And that would indicate that, you are dealing with the Saturn and the Neptune, and that's in your sign. And so therefore there's this energy that you're supposed to be in charge, that you know what to do, and you're being challenged by some outside force. And that could be a deadline, that could be an actual person saying no, that they want to be in charge. And your ability to pivot is going to come in so handy during this time. And that is that if anyone can make a shift while in motion, it's you, Aries. So you want to look at how you can change the conversation, or how you can change the perspective or the outcome that you're looking for, and that can shift that interaction or that confrontation into something really positive. The energy here is to remember too that as you move forward, the other person can help. You can find some way to come together in an agreement, but their initial reaction might be that you're not the authority, that they don't have to listen to you. But Saturn is in Aries right now. That means that it is time for you to step up and take the mantle, to take the highest position on the ladder. Something more to think about as Saturn and Neptune are going through your own sign is that you can embrace this connection that you have to your own inner strength. That means that you can pull from others to get help. And so that is, you can find apps to keep you on schedule, or you can find assistants to help you get the job done. But the most important thing is your own determination, which is considerable. And now it just needs a direction in which to point that missile. So when it comes to relationships in general, what we're going to see here over this next 2 weeks is that you're going to get a lot more no's than you are yeses, but that the person that you're facing is willing to make a change, and you certainly could pivot probably more easily than most, and this will allow you to find a win-win pretty easily. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Venus, which is sitting there with Jupiter at the base of your chart, which means that it's time to go back to your core ways of making money. Those are going to be little faucets that you can open up to a bigger flow. And so this is very positive energy for you. You have a little bit more luck right now when it comes to doing proposals, making sales calls, connecting with people in general. There's also positive energy here about doing something with family members where you could come together and collaborate to do maybe an investment, or to change living arrangements, or help someone with how they're moving into new circumstances. Now, when it comes to money derived from business or from investments, you're making about the same as usual, but that story is going to change next month when Venus goes into Leo, which is a much more compatible sign with yours. Then you're going to see your profits and opportunities come along that could be a windfall. But right now, this is more about staying the course, keep working on what you're working on, and you can see the money grow, but it's probably not time yet to take those profits. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, it's the same story, and that is that Venus is not making an aspect yet right now with Uranus, nor is it making an aspect with Saturn, but that all changes next month. So this is a time to plant the seeds, to basically get ready. I know that's hard for Aries because you just want to jump in, and you're going to tell me you're already ready, and I know you are, but the other side is not ready yet. And so this is a time to get all of the ducks in a row. If they're already in a row, then just you have to find something else to do in the meantime. Okay, in the third section of this video, there is a little tutorial, but first I have a couple of announcements, and one of those is about the tutorials themselves, and that is that as a member, you get direct access to these tutorials. You get them all in a little series, and there are additional videos, deep dive videos, behind the scenes videos. And so if you're really interested in astrology, then consider joining. The join button is on YouTube. It's right by the subscribe button, and so I would love to have you as a member. And then, in case you don't know already, I give a free class every month. It is on the first day of the month. It's at 12 p.m. Pacific time. That is 3 p.m. Eastern time. That is 8 p.m. England time. I don't know what that is for Australia. I should find out. But in this class, we do an astrological overview of the month, and then we write our monthly wishes together. We pick what we're going to focus on for the month, and then we do a short meditation where we energize this all together, all of our lists. And this class lasts for about an hour. As I said, it is free. You can register for this class. There's a link in the description. So let's continue our discussion about finding the hidden money in your chart. And by the way, I do have a video course on this topic, and there is a link to that in the description. So we've talked about the second house for a couple of videos now, and so I'd like to start our discussion talking about the other houses, money houses in your chart. You have 4 total money houses in your chart, and the second house is the most important one, but the others do play an important role. So there's the 5th house, and the 5th house is about speculation and money derived from real estate. So if you're a person who's going to roll the dice, invest in crypto, take a chance on buying a business or starting up a business, that energy will show up in the 5th house. Now, additionally, because real estate is the 4th house, and the 5th house is the second from the 4th house. So in derivative houses, we are deriving charts from the individual houses. So the second from the fourth house would be money derived from real estate. And so if you work in real estate, if you work in construction, if you do anything basically in the trades, or you do home decor, or you rent out part of your house, that all would be covered by the fifth house, or at least the money derived from those activities would be covered by the fifth house. Then there's the eighth house. Now, the eighth house is money from business. It is money from investments. It is money from partnerships. It's also inheritance, gifts, royalties, residuals, passive income sources, and the lottery. Now, the lottery is different than speculation for the fifth house. That type of speculation in the fifth house is more like poker, where you are head-to-head against another individual or the house, versus the lottery, where there is mutual betting that happens and then someone walks away with the prize. And then this is money from partnerships. That includes marriage, and that's because the seventh house is your partner, the person that you marry, or your business partner. And then in derivative houses, the second from the seventh, which is the eighth house, would be money derived from partnership. And then there is the 11th house, and the 11th house is money derived from career. So again, we're using derivative houses. The 10th house is your career, and so the second from the 10th would be money derived from career. And that would include working for somebody else or doing some sort of contract work, especially if you're in some sort of temp agency where you're going from business to business. This is also, though, for people who work in their own business, but they are integral for that business, such as a doctor whose name is on the plaque. And so if the doctor's not there, there is no business. Or people like studio musicians, where it's gig after gig, but it's more treated like a job, where there are certain hours that they have to show up and do whatever they're doing. So there is a little bit of a fine line on the contract work. Sometimes that will appear more as 8th house, sometimes it's more 11th house. But in general, what we look at is if you have a well-disposed 11th house, you're more likely to work for someone else. If your 8th house is a better house, better based on the planets that are there and the aspects that they're making, then you're more inclined to have your own business. And then the next step will be to look at the planets in those houses and what houses they rule, and then also the sign on the cusp and where that planet is, because that house will give you more information about the money you can attract. And we will talk about that in future videos. And that's it. I put out an illustrated newsletter once a week, and if you like astrology and you love black cats, this is something you'll want to subscribe to. There's a link in the description, and I will see you in the next video.